The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. A new league visits the channel of PTR TV here in 2024. It is sometimes known as the Green Hell of North America. VIR is the track, and the American Muscle Series is the league. We're taking this V8 Ford Mustang 500 RS here to the twists and turns here in Alton, Virginia for 40 minutes of action here to start off a new partnership here on the channel, and we are more than excited to give you all the coverage. Welcome everyone to the channel for tonight's race. Again, the American Muscle Series Season 6 race number 1 here at VIR. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the production truck, and I got Andre Granbush here helping me with the commentary here. So Andre, always fun bringing a new league here to the channel, and we are bringing one in record numbers. 52 Mustangs signed up here for the 3.2 mile track here at VIR.
I tell you what, these guys are excited. They want to race. I think that the long off season here has got these guys itching to get behind the wheel. It's been a bit of an off season for me in the booth, but we're back and back with a task at hand, calling this race with all these cars. Corey, it's going to be a lot of fun. VIR, definitely one of the more unique venues on iRacing and really here in America in general. 17 corners, not one of which I would consider very easy to navigate. It's a very narrow track, and I believe that this track first became operational in 1957, and the driver who won the inaugural event, Carroll Shelby, I should say. And yes, it is that Carroll Shelby of the Cobra. So if you win here tonight, you're putting yourself in very good company, and it is going to be a bit of a tall order to get that win. Again, very deep field here, and you see these Mustangs trying to navigate this corner. We did a little bit of research about this car, Corey. Of course, this is a little bit out of our standard wheelhouse, so we did a little bit of digging, and these cars are 6-speed, although at a track like this, you're probably never going to see that 6th gear. And when I look at a Mustang, I think, okay, this car is going to be a brick on wheels. It's going to be really tough to drive, but watch some videos of drivers racing this thing here on iRacing and in real life. Listen to some drivers talk about it, and what I gather is once the tires heat up, this car is actually pretty fun to drive. It's somewhat docile, so I think that's going to give these guys an opportunity to race very close, very competitively, and we're looking forward to it. Yes,
we are. As right now we have qualifying, a 10-minute qualifying session. Now, with 50 some odd cars, you would think that that might be a little difficult, but so far it looks like most of the guys out here have managed to find a little bit of space, and you will see on the ticker the Pro and Am distinction. So we had a lot of back-end discussions between the admin and both Andre and myself how we wanted to call this race. So the ins and outs of it are we do have 2 separate classes. We have Pro and Am, basically the, just distinguishing the race into skill sets. So you want to win your class, but ultimately it is a single standings race. If you're first in the amateur class and you win this race, you're first, it's still the same points being assessed. So we're going to call this race from a overall perspective, but we will denote, as we can see, the class timings and the class battles that may be forming. So I'm sure none of that made sense, but it will in due course here. But qualifying underway, seeing if anybody is nearing a completion lap right now. This is Randall McGrew here on track in that number 67 car. Very erratically colored car, and just because we have so many cars here today, we will just do a little back-end refresh, make sure everybody's car is showing the correct livery here. But again, Andre, other little dynamics with this league, we got 35% fuel limit. So if you do follow the channel, the Red Sox Racing League, another multi-class league we cover, does have short races, 40-minute races, and a guaranteed pit stop. So a little bit of strategy along with just navigating the jungle, or the gaggle, I have to say it, that's going to be amongst us tonight.
Yeah, the strategy is going to be interesting. You and I were talking a little bit pre-broadcast, and we're not really sure when the ideal time is going to be to pit or exactly how far they're going to be able to stretch it. I do know that VIR is going to give these guys a big opportunity to fuel save if that at all becomes beneficial, if that's something they want to do. A lot of off-throttle time, a lot of tight corners, so you can do a little bit of fuel saving here in these Mustangs if need be. And I don't know what the tire situation is going to be either. Again, I tend to commentate more than race on iRacing, and sometimes that gets in the way of things because the tire model changes so frequently. But I would assume it is going to have a big impact later on in the race. I, again, watched a few races and watched a few professional drivers driving this thing here on iRacing, and they said that the tires were pretty important, at least at the time of recording. So that'll be fun for sure, and we are getting closer and closer to rolling off. You mentioned the difficulty of navigating the field. Well, you know, qualifying, you and I say every week, qualifying is one of the most important aspects of a race. If you have less work to do when it starts out, you got a good shot. But I'll tell you what, this is probably the race that qualifying is more important than I've ever seen it. You get a bad starting position here, and you're going to be having to pass a lot of cars on a track that was very narrow, not a whole lot of room to do it. So going to be definitely a challenge. That's really the best way that I can put it, but also noticing, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say time's coming in here, so they're coming in fast and furious right here. That's Fabian Zweier, and again, we're going to butcher names here. Oh, there's Iro Nam, which I don't know if we got him on our list of pronunciations, but Iro up top of the list here with a 2:01.91. He has won this is season 6, Andre, so he has won 4 championships in the 4 that he has participated in. The only one he didn't win was last season, and that's because he didn't participate in it. That was I just told you about 10 minutes ago, Andre, who won last season's championship. I think it was whoever it was, Scotty Banks, that was, who won last season's championship. So he's going to look forward to try to go back-to-back. Iro is going to try to keep his perfect streak alive. But then you have Matt Solark there, Fabian, then Kevin, Jack Sanchez up there with fast times. So trying to knock the Dominator, I guess, off his pedestal.
Yeah, but usually the drivers who are on that pedestal are there for a reason, and not only are they going to be the dominant force, but it's going to motivate these guys for sure, knowing they're chasing that carrot on the stick, trying to dethrone the driver who has just continually been a sight that fades out of their windshields, getting smaller in the horizon. But right now, Iro Nam still holding on to that top spot, a 2-minute, 1 second, 0.9. Only driver so far to break into that bracket behind him, Matt Solarczyk, is going to be 2 minutes, 2 seconds, only about 0.2 of a second off, which again, these cars, being the muscle cars they are, and being the type of vehicle that you have here, it's going to be pretty close in times. These cars are going to handle pretty equally across the board, so it's really going to come down to driver and track knowledge especially. This is one of those tracks that one little mistake, especially in this downhill section, you can see Lanning working his way through here. Brake a little bit too late, turn in just a little bit too late, you're going to find yourself sliding it through the grass.
Now, it looks from a camera perspective that he is just going so slow through there. I almost thought he was just kind of going on a slow lap, but that's just how it is with these Mustangs, with the 3,600 pounds that these things weigh. They weigh more than a NASCAR stock car with 385 horsepower, so they will not have fun with those undulating sections of the track. That lap definitely not going to be one that he is too fond of. And who else do we got on track right now? We got Matt Malone up there. He got himself in the 209s, and well, actually, no, that's the pole lap. He is 0.3 of a second off in that 4th spot, seeing if he can take that number 83 and put it a little bit higher up on the podium. But then Matt Solar within 6/100ths there of our amateur class. Looks like the fastest lap thus far is going to be Charles Hosea. Hopefully saying that right. Back there with
Hosea, I believe.
Hosea, excuse me. So that'll be about a 1.2 second variant from the AM class up to the pros. So again, that is why that skill distinction's there. Maybe he's 17th, but he's the best of the regular guys, which if I was in this league, I'd probably be back of the AM class. So still got that kind of double prize to fight for.
I think I'd still be sitting on pit road if I was in this league. I see 50 cars. I know that, they're pretty much all going to be faster than me. So might as well have a chicken sandwich behind the pit wall and watch these guys do what they do, because it's going to be tight competition. I mean, look at this, Corey. Pole, 2 minute, 1 second, almost a 2 minute 2, all the way back to 36th place. You're only looking at 3 second difference, which over the course of 2 minutes is not a whole lot. So very tight competition across the board. These drivers getting those times put in. And you mentioned the weight of the car, and you're right, that is something to take into account. You think sports cars, you think this type of racing, and you think, oh, nimble, quick. And well, these cars, again, they might be docile, they might not be the biggest handful, but they're definitely not nimble. And when you have these downhill sections like you see right there, you have to make sure that you are on the ball with the inputs, because they are not going to be forgiving. And there's a lot of tracks on the schedule this year coming up that are going to be...
There goes Eero. He bests his time. Just, more icing on the cake for the pole sitter.
Yep, just had to go out there and get that extra 10th there, Corey.
Yep, you can see there on the tracker there at 95 mile an hour, which... that's even slower than a NASCAR at Sonoma here. So yeah, we are not getting around this place in record speed at all, but that'll just add to the fun of it. So we already kind of talked about the race details here. The fact that we got a 40-minute race. Cautions are on the table. We do have a race admin that will be making the calls here if indeed we have some guys going off track, causing some wrecks, blocking the track, which it is a slightly narrow track. Well, that is a new groove.
I think that's the fast line.
That's Joker lap engaged, so you have to do that at least once per race, the Todd Hansen line there. So clearly that is going to make this lap time 30 seconds faster. We'll see him go up to P1, or maybe not here, but...
I'm amazed he got back on the blacktop, and I mean, the car didn't spin. I mean, he had that change in grip immediately, and he was able to keep that thing going.
I know you're not as... on the track these days, Andre, but the grass model is a big point of contention here on iRacing with how it is with sometimes it's actually a little bit more grip than you would think it is. But these guys, I thought there was a countdown timer, but maybe there's not. So let's go down and go right down trackside and give you the PTR TV starting lineup for the American Muscle Series race number 1 here at VIR. On the front row here, we got Eero Nom from Estonia here, 201.85. Matt Solaric there on that outside of the front row. Second row, we have Fabian Zweier with Matt Malone there in the 4th spot. Fifth, we have Kevin Parrish with Luis Henriquez. Hopefully saying that right there in 6th. 7th is Scotty Banks with Reese Gardner in 8th. 9th and 10th, Phil Keck and Jack Sanchez.
Looking outside the top 10, Andrew Lanning going to be P11. He's rolling off alongside Randall McGrew in 12th. 13th is going to find Brandon Brush in that number 41 machine. Luke Sedenga going to be P14. 15th goes to Evan Hubchak, and it is going to be David Moore, P16. 17th, Ian Lane, right next to Todd Hansen, who again, innovator of his own lines there through the grass. 19th going to Charles Hosea, the number 100 machine. That's a nice number. And David Fernandez is going to be off alongside him.
And 21st, we have Ed Sanchinelli with Mike Thompson in the 22nd spot. Jesse Hodgson, and we said in pre-race we got to get a normal name. We got to get an easy name wrong. Dahan Otut in the number 24th position. Christopher, I should have saved it for this one, I suppose. Christopher S in 25th with Michael Puck. He's Canadian, Michael Puck, and we'll go with that. I like the little Fox animated picture there. We got Dustin Alice in 27th. I think we read that one. Adam Freese in 28th. Jeff Andrus in 29th, out of the country of Texas. And then Matt Thompson in 30th.
Outside the top 30, Levi Powell's going to be at P31, right alongside Aaron Bray in 32nd.
That's a nice photo.
It is indeed a great photo. Rolling off 33rd is going to be, once the graphic swaps.
We're going green.
All right, green flag is out, so it would have been Anton in 33rd, but here we go down into the first corner. It is going to be 50 Mustangs trying to fight for position, but out front they are going to sort it out and get single file. Look at this, Corey, clean and green all the way. I do see a little bit of smoke back there, a little bit of chaos happening towards the rear end of the field. That's the 149 machine working his way through the grass. Another spin.
Yep, 29 Taco
Bell machine
That's Dahan Oot right there. That's Dan Ott. He is.
Oh, not Dan.
Yeah, well, the crunch wrap got destroyed. And then who else do we got back here? That is Ashton Pfizer's there. Back into the field, as to be expected. There's going to be some carnage here as everyone gets themselves situated here.
Well, that's my fault. I said clean and green, and then we saw that first plume of smoke. But overall, that was a pretty good start given the field size. Iro Nam extending his lead over the last few corners up to 0.6 of a second over Matt Solarczyk. Fabian Zweier is about a second back from the leader.
There we go again.
Oh, yeah, there, another issue a little bit further back. But I was going to say he's being pressured by Matt Malone and Luis Henriquez, who is currently 1.5 back. A couple cars on pit road getting their cars towed after that bit of a chaotic start, but starting to calm down here. Single file, the leader under pressure as we head into one of the tricky downhill sections. It's going to be a right-hander coming up, I believe, and from there, let's see. Matt Solarczyk closing in big time there, using a little bit of slipstream, Corey, which will be a thing. Look at this, applying the pressure.
Yeah, and first off, we obviously the rolling start caught us a little off guard. First race with this new series is always meant to have a little bit of nuances, so we will have to find a way to get through that grid a little bit faster next week. But coming to the conclusion of one lap here, it's I think the ticker should turn over to time relatively soon. It's estimated to be about a 20-lap race here. 40 minutes on the stopwatch. I believe it will tick over to that. If not, we'll just keep some mental note here in the background of what the timer is actually going to be. But looking back, we have thought we had a little side-by-side battle here, and that's 23 of Jack Sanchez, who disappeared. Kevin Parrish back to the 7 spot. Rail McGrew a little bit further back here, edges of the top 10, just kind of scrolling through. Looks like everybody's kind of minding their P's and Q's. We got a little bit of space, Andre, which is all we need to let these guys, learn this track, get into their rhythm, and try to click off some laps.
Yeah, these guys back here, a little bit of space, but there was some too-wide action a little bit further ahead. An overtake just took place, and that was quite a good move. You can see them sliding a little bit through this high-speed chicane section. Tires should be coming up to grip now, so they might get a little bit more bold, a little bit more aggressive as time goes on. But this little group of cars here definitely not letting each other get away, trying to use those curbs up if they can. Again, cars got pretty good ride height here, so you might as well use it. Heading into the grass.
Yeah, everyone's
there's
McGrew there as well. Everyone's kind of using the Joker route. I think everyone took Todd Hansen's line a little bit too literally there. Once one car goes off, Andre, you're too close to the guy behind you. If you're too close to the guy behind you, he goes off, you're going to go off, and then you just get a whole kitty litter train of everybody putting dust on the track. Well, let's go up front. We got a battle here. Here comes Matt looking to the left of Iro here. This is going to put him on the outside for the first part of the final S's, but as he gets through, it may work out. Yeah, he's going to get by. Iro's going to let him go. Now Fabian Zweier, he's going to try to take advantage of that, maybe catch Iro a little bit off here. But so far, coming to the conclusion of lap number 2, everybody's still under a blanket.
And I'll tell you what, Matt Solarczyk is not afraid to drive it in just a little bit deeper into these corners. That's one thing I'm noticing, and that is where he gained a lot on Iro, was he was just going a little bit deeper into the corner. Seems to be using those brakes efficiently, and that is what helped him close in. And then, of course, the slipstream on that long back straightaway, kind of closing the gap even further. Another battle. We're going to go side by side into a right-hander.
Yeah,
looks
turn
like
number 1.
Yep, turn number 1. Is it going to be clear? Yes, he will.
Hoop chalk by Henriquez there, that was.
So Hoopchak making up progress. Qualified pretty good, but left himself a little bit of work to do. Now he is trying to get it done. And this group of cars, bumper to bumper, a little bit on the curb, a little bit sideways, but they're going to sort it out. No harm, no foul.
That's David Moore in the number 13 car with the eagle on the side of it. That's Dustin Alice there, and then Mike Thompson. Not too far back as well in the purple car, just going all the way through the back of the field. Want to make sure everybody gets on camera here. When you have 50 cars, it is hard to make sure everyone gets their love, but trying our best here as you go back all the way through the 30s, which, Andre, in most races you cover, being 32nd is not really a good spot, but when you have 50 cars on track, it's actually not that bad if you're 30th. You're still about halfway.
Yeah, you're still beating 20 other people, so you can't say you're doing too bad at all. And with the competition level here, I can't say any of these drivers are doing too bad, although coming down pit road, I did see a jack stand going up, so somebody who took a
heavy
tow
damage. That was back in the 50s, so.
Yeah, that was somebody who was involved there on lap 1, probably getting the tow completed, taking some fresh tires. Might as well at this point. They already lost a little bit of time, so those tires having heat cycle through them from all that sliding. But for the lead, here comes Iro Nam back to the point. And that really does seem to be the prime overtaking position there, Corey. That slipstream is huge and actually not going to be able to complete the move. So Matt Solarczyk holding on to it either way, but that was a huge attempt. I'm riding on board now with Matt Malone. Really good at making small talk with carpet installers. Just want to make sure we knew that. Great skill set to have as somebody who has had to, struggle with some small talk with some contractors, things like that. Not a bad skill to have. Look at this.
Look at this. Look at this. He's going to the left side of the track. Scotty Banks trying to withdraw out of the ATM, but Matt Malone denies the request there. Enter in turn number 1. Took that punt a little bit farther than I thought I'd be able to do, but that works out. Then Kevin Parrish there coming back and try to close on in, along with Scotty Banks, last season's champion Scotty Banks, right to that rear deck lid I think that is Matt Malone, as a matter of fact. So he's trying to go back to back, but the Dominator not dominating right now. He is in second, but they're equal enough, and that long back straightaway, Andre, sets you up for a strategy move, almost like Daytona in very, very rudimentary fashion. At Daytona, you exit the bus stop, you have to get the run to the checkers. Here, you have to get that run leading onto the back straightaway, so that way you can get the run into the S's and close out the lap.
Yeah, it's definitely part of the track that provides a great opportunity, and we've seen these guys use it already to their advantage. So I'm sure we're going to see it time and time again. At VIR, it is a pretty popular part of the track, even in real life, to make your moves. But going on board now, you can see as Phil Keck is trying to follow along with this group, stay in their tire tracks.
Party till I die.
Exactly. Trying to use that slipstream. You're going to see him probably close in just a little bit thanks to it. But this is what it's like, Corey. Long, uphill, completely straight. Probably the easiest part of the track before you get into one of the more complex sections. We're going to go side by side up front, though. Looks like Solarczyk, Fabian Zweyer, going to have a little bit of a disagreement there over who's going to be P2. But so far, Solarczyk is going to hold on to it. And Iro Nam is back to the point. So says our scoring and timing. That number 78 machine back to the front. So the Dominator.
Just call him the Pac-Man, because he's going nom 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 through the competition.
All right, I'm not even going to give you a drum roll for that one, or the crickets. That's not getting it.
I mean, I just got told in chat they're here for the analogy. So here we go again. Solarczyk to the inside, and that one, he let him go.
Oh, it's going to be a crossover, though. Here comes Nam back to the bottom. He's going to get him. What a move. He saw the opportunity, dove it back down. It was a bold move by Solarczyk. But look at that. Fabian Zweyer using this battle to his advantage. He is on the bumper. He is sandwiched between him, Matt Solarczyk and Matt Malone. Yeah. He's the middle of a Matt sandwich.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I said I wouldn't say it. It's a gaggle.
It is indeed. That's an appropriate word for it. But as they go through the S's, you can see him eating up that curb, and Fabian Zweyer, he is just waiting for an opportunity. I think he may be a little bit quicker through the technical parts than Matt, but again, getting to somebody is one thing, making the pass is going to be another. So it's just going to have to rely on what these guys do. Iro, having fallen back to second, going back up to the lead. You got to think he might be just a little bit nervous, knowing the competition's not letting him get away with it. They are still all in a line, coming down into this uphill right-hander.
This is where the tree was. R.I.P. oak tree. Right.
Probably for the best that it's not there.
Yeah, let's, for all those, I don't know if that looks like a tree, I'll delete that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were told to have fun with this one, so we're doing that. But here we go down the back straightaway. Solarczyk bump drafting. We're not at Daytona. We are not at Daytona, but evidently we are at Daytona under the wing cam here, sponsored by nobody because we don't have sponsors here. But coming down through the back end of the track, and it's all about fun right now. We're 5 laps in. I know it's roughly 16 laps to go. We're 10 minutes in, so 25% distance. Again, with the 35% fuel load. Don't ask us what time they're going to be pitting, because we don't know. We just know that they're going to at some point. Maybe chaotic here with the shared pit stalls with how many guys you have to battle with. But while we want to show some love, let's just pick a position. Oh, no, it's not, because here he goes again. Solarczyk down to the inside. He is the lead change connoisseur here, making these moves. And Eero showing the patience, but it's really hard to show that patience and get back in line, Andre, because Nom, he get right back in front of Zweier there. Zweier could have forced the issue and really put Nom in a precarious position, but still playing nice early in the event.
Yeah, Fabian definitely showing some patience here. When these guys are battling, you'd think he'd be chomping at the bit to take advantage, but I think he knows better than anybody. If you want to win this thing, you got to be there at the end, and I think making enemies, getting too aggressive early on here in this race, maybe not the best call. So I think I agree there with Fabian's driving style. On board now with McGrew. Chicks dig him because he barely wears underwear. That's his words as he is rolling.
You have giggity giggity on your soundboard there?
I do not. I can put it on there, but either way, he's got a little bit of a gap to the cars ahead, so one of the few drivers to have the luxury of breathing room, both in front and behind. But this group of leaders all the way back to Sanchez in the 23, just bumper to bumper. I mean, these guys...
Now, if you want to gain brownie points with your commentator in a busy race, this is what you do. Take the advice from Sanchez. Put your name on the car. If you want to get brownie points, that's what you do. I mean, I apologize for your fears in life there, Jack, but kudos on helping us out with the paint scheme.
Okay, but what I need to know is he afraid of them separately? Like if he just saw a jar of mayonnaise or is he afraid of a combination? Like is he afraid of putting
mayonnaise? Or lemonades? That lemonades actually sounds like some kind of...
No, oh God.
Lemonade sounds like some kind of fancy thing Gordon Ramsay would like put on a fish taco or something, but...
Well, with that mental image in my head of lemonades, we're going to get back to the race as Matt Solarczyk is starting to walk away with the lead a little bit. 0.4 of a second going to be the advantage over Eero Nom. Well, I say he's walking away, but as they dive down into turn one, that lead gets cut down substantially. Eero outbraking him a little bit, rolling through the center, using the mechanical grip of that car. So now we ride on board with Eero here in second place, and it is all taillights right now, not leaving him much room, taking up the whole windshield. Fabian Zweier still playing it a little bit patient. Matt Malone behind him, Scotty Banks in the number one, Kevin Parrish, Jack Sanchez, all in this group. And actually, Phil Keck has caught this group. He was a little bit further back, but now he's trying to make his presence known and throw his hat into the ring.
Yeah, so he's like, what the Keck? I want to be up here. I want to battle. I want to party. I do everything. I mean, Andre, we said we're going to have fun with this one.
That is three puns.
Do you need to pop a couple more Sterlings for this next one?
Any more puns, and I might need some Sterlings. I don't know. I think we're at record pace for the puns there, Corey.
Yeah, we'll get a graphic for that one next week, as if I could handle any more production here on the back end here. But we are now 24-ish minutes in. Apparently the ticker is going to stay on laps. I knew something would be off, but you know, it is what it is. It'll still be accurate enough for what we need it to accomplish here. This is mid-teens here. That side-by-side is in the form of, let's cue it up. We get the 4 car of Henriquez and Luke Sedanga here, 47 and 4, 12th and 13th. Quickly, we haven't mentioned anything about classes, so let's just kind of go back to that. Our pro class is coalescing. Actually, we don't know what class Lewis is because his name does not distinguish him. But our first amateur driver back in 21st, so that it definitely does show that it's not just a distinction. It definitely is almost like a hard cutoff. There's only a couple pros staggered back there. So our class leader for AM is Mike Thompson, and of course our overall lead is what you see with Matt Solarczyk.
And of course, to clarify, at the end of the race, the points will be distributed from first to last place sequentially, no matter what your class is. So even if you finish first among the amateurs, if you finish 20th overall, you're getting 20th overall points. So it's really more just to distinguish who you're racing around, what their experience level may be. In this type of road racing, it's good to know, is this somebody who's relatively new? Are they experienced? What kind of moves can I try to pull and trust them to be able to handle? It's a good thing to have, but even the amateurs in this group, man, I don't think that amateur tag means a whole lot because they are still clicking off some really great laps a little bit further back. Again, very tight competitions. We're kicking up some dirt here in this group. The 163.
Aaron Bray, Mr.
Bray,
Banana Dog. Ring, banana dog there. And then there was side by side. favorite sim is Rocket League. Now that is that most accurate physics known to man there, and I wish they would implement some of them, but that is all in the mid-20s right here. Andre, you do have your timing as well, so if things get a little juicy up front, be sure to interrupt me. Going a little bit further back, we have David Finch, and he is in the Motorcraft Mobile just ahead of him. Aaron Bray, 163, followed him. Motorcraft getting beat by Shell here. That's the 43 car of Ian Lane. He has a lane down to the inside in the Rip Oak Tree corner. They'll go side by side. A little bit of dust kicked up, Luke Bryan style. Heading down the back straightaway, they'll go door to door for that famous 28th position.
Yeah, and they're going to stay side by side. Very long straightaway here, so now the driver really going to get much of an advantage going down to the corner. It's all going to be about who can outbrake the next guy.
Oh, that's grass there, somebody.
Yeah, somebody kicking up a little bit of grass, but we're going to be 2x2, 2 rows deep, actually, at the end of this straightaway. And look at this, driving it in deep. That orange machine definitely went a little bit wide there, opened up the possibility of a crossover. But
that was Bray.
So Bray opening up the door, but able to shut it just in time. As further back, they're going to have to concede that right now may not be the time to make the overtake, get single filed, but down the front straightaway now into turn one. This has been probably the second most preferred overtake corner, so we'll see what happens here in this group. Everybody hungry for position. Riding on board now right behind Bray. This is with Freese. And he's going to break real deep into the corner, try to sling it around the outside. Now, there is a huge hill. Once you dip off that pavement, your car is going to get pulled off, so you got to be careful there. But he makes it work.
No, he doesn't.
Now he's going to have...
He lost a spot.
Yeah, he's going to go a little bit further back there.
It's very accurate. He was going for a pass, and he lost a spot, so I suppose that is accurate.
You got to admire it, though. I mean, he really tried to make that outside stick. Unfortunately, this car is a little bit too heavy for that. And again, that corner, very risky to go to the outside because when you get off the pavement, it's just a grass slope, and it will pull you around. So
a grassy knoll. That's who is that? Johnny? No, I don't want to get myself yelled at. Grassy knoll. Isn't that some kind of song by some famous rock artist? No.
I think we're thinking of different grassy knolls. Personally, Matt Solarsing
probably
is closing. His deal here is Aero Nam. A little bit of a slipstream here. You saw it go from 0.4 of a second down to 2. Now into the corner. What can he do? A little bit lower through the corner, tighter line. Up on the curb goes the leader of Solarsic. Fabian Zweier still rocking third place. Matt Malone, this lead group not changing much. I'd have to imagine if we are going to be pitting, we're going to be getting close to it. We're almost halfway through this event, and I know in the stock car racing world, generally if you can split it in half, drivers are going to try to do that. So we'll see if that carries over here into road racing. But man, down into turn one, this is where Eero has been so good all day long, kind of keeping him in the mix with our leader, and he's not quite going to get there this time. But that lead group, you look at the lap times last time by, not falling off a whole lot from the pole time, Corey. So the tires, whatever wear we have, seems to be somewhat minimal. See 2-minute 3 for the leader, 2-minute 2.9 for Eero, a little bit quicker, 2-minute 3.1 for Fabian. A little bit further back, we got some really good lap times, 2-minute 2.3, which is only a few tenths off what pole was. So tires maybe not cooking too hot here.
Yeah, not at all. They hit that prime number, about 3-4 laps in, they get up to prime temp, and they start rolling now. Obviously, with these Mustangs being as heavy as they are, very easy to slide them. And once you slide them, this tire does not like a lot of yaw. So once it does slide, it gets unhappy, it overheats. And once it overheats, it gets big mad, and it stays big mad. I had an analogy, but we'll drop that one for now. But looks like Matt Malone under fire from Scotty Banks here. So Scotty showing some patience in that one car. Again, with the 23. Jack Sanchez, our favorite driver, because his name is on his car. Although I guess Matt Malone, I mean, everybody knows that logo, except Andre, because I had to tell Andre who Matt Malone was, which I guess that'll kind of ruin his social clout there. But I just lost my train of thought. But either way, all these guys battling about up to 6. Small gap back to Phil Keck in 7th. Taco Bell car. What is on the back of that car?
I believe it's dogs. I've never seen this car.
Come on, Randall. Show some skill. Get closer. We need to see what's on the back of his car.
Got to zoom it in just a little bit. I do believe it is a couple of dogs. I don't know the breed. But maybe this camera angle, when he comes around, will focus in on him.
All right, yeah, I think we'll get it right here. No, those wrestlers?
Maybe? I know I saw a car with dogs, but that may be a different car that I was looking at. So
Taco Bell and wrestling?
I mean, they kind of go hand in hand.
I mean, you wrestle with your bowels after? I don't know. Fabian's Wire. Good diversion there off topic. First to draw blood here at the halfway point. He's going to come in, and he was in that top 5. Now we'll bring up our pit stop timer graphic so we can get some sort of distinction on how long these guys will be in the pits for. It is about 13 seconds. So, and
as expected, no tires. Again, we were looking at those lap times. They had not eroded at all. They were running lap times that were just as quick now as they were at the start of the race. So, not surprised we're not seeing those jack stands go up. Again, these are almost stock Mustangs with just a few racing modifications. So changing tires, not exactly as easy as it might be on some other racing machines. So it would take up a lot of extra time. So he's just going to get the splash and go back out on the track. Now, here's the interesting thing, Corey, is like, where is he going to cycle out in terms of traffic? Is he going to be stuck behind somebody that's maybe a little bit off pace from him? Or is he going to have clear track and be able to maybe click off a few laps and cycle out ahead? Now, it looks like as he gets out on track, he is pretty clean and green. Not too much traffic ahead, not too much traffic behind. So if he's going to make up time on those leaders, remember he was riding in third when he came in pit road. This would be the time.
All right, so now we're going to bring math into it. Let's put the games away. So you can see the leader gap right there, 34 and change. So we will switch it back over to the pit stop time. And you can see a pit lane time of 35.2. So that is from cone to cone, including the stop, at roughly 35 seconds. So in very rudimentary fashion, which is probably going to be incorrect, he should come out right where he started because the delta versus gap is basically even. So that's what we're going to look for with the rest of these guys with pit stops. We have seen a few stops further back. Thompson, Moore, Lane, these guys were all midfield, but I guess everyone's midfield, and there's still 49 cars, 47 cars, something like that on track. Jack Sanchez coming in the pits. Maybe to get a glass of mayonnaise or lemonade, along with some petrol in that Mustang. But back up to our lead battle, and Hero Nom, Matt Malone now up to third via the pit stop strategy, but he is starting to get a little feisty here. He took a look on Nom, and he'll have to fall back in line, but just behind him, he can't afford any mistakes because Scotty Banks is just chomping at the bit here to try to get that third spot.
Yeah, he's definitely getting aggressive with it. All these drivers are getting a little bit antsy, and obviously when you come down into the pits, you want to have the best track position possible, getting in and out. So it makes sense. Maybe we want to make some moves before you come down pit road. But either way, Matt Malone, you can see right there, he is just really aggressive on the curbs, taking very tight lines, and just waiting for any opportunity for Hero Nom to open up the door, maybe get alongside of him. And of course, Scotty Banks, he's been right with these guys the whole race. We haven't talked about him a whole lot, but his pace has been near identical to the fastest drivers on the track. So definitely a contender here. Kevin Parrish a little bit further back. He's going to get some slipstream help. But really, it is anybody's game out front. It's going to be a consistency game. Whoever's going to make the fewest mistakes, I think, is going to be in good standing. But this time around, as we approach the downhill section before the pit stop, is anybody going to come down this lap? That's the question I have. Yep. Who's going to be the taker of this lead pack to split away? Now, I would assume a lot of these guys, being road racers, they probably have some sort of delta that's going to tell them roughly where they're going to exit after they pit in terms of traffic, and that is something you want to think about. You don't want to come out of the pits and immediately be in a group of cars that's kind of slowing you down, holding you up on those cold tires. But as we come down, it looks like Matt Solarczyk is going to come down pit road. He is bringing Hero Nom with him, but Matt Malone and Scotty Banks are going to stay out one more time at the bare minimum, and that is going to give the lead to Matt Malone. Scotty Banks P2, and it's a whole group of cars. Look at this: Phil Keck, Andrew Lanning, Randall McGrew, Hubchak, Sedenga, everybody coming down pit road. It's a party. It
is now with 8 laps to go on estimate. That differential on time equals just at 15 minutes left in today's race. Now let's go back to Fabian if we evade the buildings and billboards there. Fabian's Wire, who was our first one to come into the pits. Let's take a look at his gap. And it's 41 seconds, so he has lost a little bit through the chaos. So that could shake out in a negative connotation here once he blends back. Now he's just exiting the pits right now. Matt Malone is well out there. Well, actually, Matt hasn't pit yet, so let's find Solaric here. He is...
Okay, Solarsik's going to be the tell here. So we got Matt Solarzik, Ironam, Jack Sanchez, Phil Keck.
Yeah, he's like 3 corners back right now, is Wire from Solaric.
So he definitely lost some time, which is a little bit confusing to me. He was clicking off really good lap times. Maybe
let's dissect it a little bit further. So we have to look at how much time was spent on pit road. Fabian Zweier, we saw that live, 13 seconds. Let's see how much time Solaric spent in the pits, because we have the technology. Survey says...
10 seconds, so he had a very good stop, out and away, just under 11.
3 seconds shorter. Now, is that enough fuel? Because you know a lot of times we do have the auto fuel feature here on iRacing. A little bit loose there. Matt Malone still. We do have the auto fuel feature, which means iRacing will use its fuel measurement tactics and give you a buffer range. Here comes Matt Malone and company, Banks and Parrish. iRacing can tell you what it estimates you'll need, but some guys have third-party software. Some guys just use the old noggin. You got to make sure you have enough fuel. Who do you trust? Do you take too much? Do you take too little? These are the risks you play. But here comes our last 3. Actually, yep, this is the last driver, Brandon Brush in the 41. That is the last of them to pit. So we are now completing the cycle, and we'll see how everyone shakes out here. Here comes Solaric taking another lap. That's Eero Nom. What's the gap for Eero? 3 seconds.
To the leader now, as he's going to cycle out ahead of Matt Malone and Scotty Banks. I saw him pass right there. But yeah, lost significant time here. Matt Solarzik making great use of that stop, getting clean track and just pulling away.
Remember,
13.1.
That's 2.5 seconds more fuel than Solaric took. So that is 2.5 seconds. And then what's the gap? 2.5 seconds. So Eero Nom is going to have to, put all the analogies aside. He's going to have to find that championship swagger and put it into overdrive here. And with only 12 minutes left, or an estimated 6 laps, 2 minutes and 8 seconds around here approximately, it's only 3/4 tenths a lap, which at a track like this is not hard to do because it is a very mistake-prone track. Again, it's kind of the green hell of North America. There's really no, you can see on the map there, it's obviously it's not quite a Nordschleife, but it's as close as we're going to get here in North America with all the undulations and different kinds of bends and easy places to mess up. So getting 3/4 tenths a lap is not unheard of.
No, absolutely not. When it comes to road course racing, especially at a track as technical as VIR with the braking zones that it has and the chicanes and the S's and just everything, you can gain or lose quite a bit very quickly. It's not like oval racing where you're going to see a difference of 2 tenths and think, oh, that's huge. No, these guys can gain or lose a ton around a 2-minute lap time. Again, whole time was 2 minutes 1, so it's going to take them quite a while from point A to point B, which is just more and more opportunity to try to find a little bit of an advantage, bit of an edge on the competition. And a lot of these guys are close enough that they can see, Eero Nom, he can see Matt Solarzik up there, and he can see what line are you running, what are you doing that I'm not, if anything. This group of cars right here, look at this, Sanchez a little bit further back from the field there. He going to go side by side, it looks like, down the front straightaway into our second favorite passing zone of the night, and I think he's going to get it before they even quite get there, hugging that inside line. Going to be a very shallow entry, but he should be able to make it stick as long as he gets on those brakes a little bit early.
Oh, sending it!
Machine
extra
on the outside.
Fire sauce there on the outside, and
he tried, but we've not seen that line work all night long.
It did, and he kind of cut him off there. Now, I did mean to say this in the pre-race, but I'll say it now, and I'll say it at the end of the race, because it is an important cause here. Here in the series as we follow a lot of things here. This is Solaric getting slowed up by a lap car. 13 car goes off into the wall there, and everybody will have to get by and evade. That was Dave. Actually, I can't even tell who that was at this point, but whoever it was got turned there off of the bumper. And yep, that was actually No, this is a replay. I just didn't queue up the replay trigger for it. That is the 128 of Tom Wendt, who went into the barrier. Back to live footage there. I just didn't feel like going to the replay graphic. But I'll cut back this because it is an important denotion for the league. This is the American Muscle Series also is racing to raise awareness for the American Society for Suicide Prevention. The AFSP saves lives and brings hope to those affected by suicide. They are a voluntary health organization that gives hope, gives those affected by suicide a nationwide community empowered by research, education, and advocacy to take action against this leading cause of death. So you can always go to afsp.org if you have dealt with that and also want to help the cause. So racing for good cause here. I don't want to forget that very important readout. These two just cannot get off of each other's tail here. You know, there's always two guys that are Velcroed all race. Looks like it's going to be Sanchez and
Phil Keck. Yeah, Phil Keck and Sanchez, they have both been... They've been pretty close, and it seems like they're just kind of trading off who's faster in what corner, but it all kind of evens out. And out front, speaking of evening out, that massive lead that Solarsic had when the pit sequence had ended, that's gone. And now we're seeing something more similar to what we saw at the start of the race, down through turn 1 into turn 2. Iro Nam has cut that lead down to 0.4 of a second. Matt Malone in third, Scotty Banks fourth. So really, everything's cycling out exactly where we would have thought that it would have, with the exception of Fabian Zweier, who is 11 seconds back. And Corey, I think that has to be more than just issues with his pit stop being long. I think there had to have been some sort of bobble, some sort of mistake, or perhaps just being stuck in traffic that we didn't catch or denote there. Because, again, he was on pace with the leaders, and ever since that pit sequence just lost so much time. But the 4-car breakaway out front, this is the battle. This is the class of the field. Matt Solarsic, Iro Nam, Matt Malone, Scotty Banks. These drivers, man, oh man, I don't know how you can go this long into the race and not make any mistakes. These drivers have been flawless so far tonight. No mistakes, no bobbles, no getting loose. Just clicking off laps, being consistent, hitting their marks, and it's balanced out to the point where, you know, we've got roughly 5 laps remaining, so says the clock, and these guys are still as close as they were at the drop of the green.
Yes, they are. Now, just for the sake of bringing it up, as I think we may have a battle here, I did want to bring up the AM category here, the AM class, but we have the battle. Iro Nam taking the left side of the track down into roller coaster. Malone trying to fill in the gap here. Again, this is the roller coaster downhill S's. That's where it gets its name from. And Solaric is going to hold off the charge here. We do have a slower car that these guys will have to navigate. They should catch him on the front straightaway, which should evade a little bit of the chaos. But into the pits.
Solarsic maybe did not take enough fuel.
Or, I mean, I'll check here our various channels here. I don't know, maybe there could have been a penalty of some sort. I don't know what it would be. Maybe it was fuel. He did have the shortest pit stop by far of anybody. It could be that, which is just absolute catastrophic call here. But it's going to put Matt Malone in the best spot he's been in all race with 6 minutes left here in the affair. Again, just to point note at other battles on track, the class lead for the amateur class is Mike Thompson in the 16th class, with Michael Puck there not too far back. So again, that is still a battle within class, but remember, the points are all assessed on an overall basis. But now we're down to a trio, Nam, Malone, and Banks here for the top spots with just under 6 minutes left. Turns almost into a strategy game. I mean, I don't know if Malone has the overall pace. I don't know how much the slipstream is helping. Maybe he does. Maybe Nam has fallen off a little bit, but you have to, at this point, almost time your move out.
Well, again, like you said, I don't know if he's got the outright pace, but what he does have is ambition. He's really been one of the only drivers in this lead pack that I continually see looking low, looking high, trying to stick his nose under the competition to try to pick up a position. It's not worked out that often, but he's trying, and he's definitely hungry for the position. Coming down the back straightaway, it's going to be a big slipstream, not just for him, but for Scotty Banks behind. You can see closing in a little bit, maybe a bit of a bump draft up the hill. That would be unique.
Without even seeing the rear cam, I saw the jolt there from that bump traffic, and we'll stay on board here into roller coaster. Right-hander down. Here comes a left. Now you're going kind of almost a double late apex here, and now another quick left, down, right, double apex right-hander, and then this puts us down onto the front straightaway here. Again, now we're under 4 minutes 30 to go, so the ticker is going to kind of freak out here. I will fix that for next week, but the way that timed races work on iRacing, once you cross the stripe here, as Banks looking to the left side of the track, maybe just enough to peek his nose to make Matt think a little bit, or maybe Matt was trying to do that on Ironom. But when you cross the stripe with less time on the clock than an average lap, that will be the white. As of right now, we are at 4 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock. So I will make note of the time we are at crossing the stripe. We may be at 1 to go, probably at 2 to go, actually, as we speak right now. But that is why the intensity is kicking up, and I can't wait till that back straightaway, 1 lap to go, Andre.
Oh yeah, they're going to be using that slipstream, and I don't think there's going to be much give. It's going to be all take. We already saw just a couple laps ago, Matt Malone tried to get to the bottom there through the downhill roller coaster, had to lift. Well, I shouldn't say he had to lift, but he did lift out of courtesy to avoid any troubles. Well, when we're at 2 to go, I think the courtesy maneuvers maybe become less frequent. So down into this somewhat tight right-hander, you see Matt Malone driving it in deep, kind of washing up the track a little bit. That's going to cost him some time on exit, but again, that time is all going to be made up right here on to that long back straightaway. 3 cars all in a row fighting for the race win. Ironom, the dominator of the league so far, trying to hold on to that top spot on the podium, but Matt Malone, Scotty Banks equally as fast behind, and that slipstream is going to close them all in here going up the hill. Matt Malone's going to look to the driver's side. Can he get there? Not quite.
Yeah, that was the outside, so he was kind of looking for almost a crossover move, trying to catch Nom off his game here. We're closing in on the lap close that we are at about 2:40 on the clock now, so this will be enough for 2 laps to go. Yeah, we're going to cross the stripe roughly 2:20 on the back end clock here. So yes, we will be on 2 laps to go right now at VIR. Now the games are playing. Now they're going all the way down the snake line to the right side of the track. Now that is not a line you can take the corner at. Malone's going to go left side, driver's side move here. That outside has not worked, but if Nom goes wide, he'll be on the inside here, but Nom is able to keep that car where it needs to be, make sure Malone can't fill the gap.
I like what Malone did there. He drifted to the outside of the straightaway so that he could apex the corner a little bit better, carry a little bit more speed. That got him right on the bumper and set him up really good through this section of the track, but unfortunately not able to make the most of it quite yet. Again, these cars are wide and this track is narrow. It was initially created by a small group of guys and a single bulldozer. If you ever wondered why it's so narrow, that would be the reason. And it's definitely showing these wide American muscle cars. Passing coming at a bit of a premium here, but again, Matt Malone super aggressive, and you can't discount Scotty Banks either. Every time Matt looks to make a move, looks like Scotty follows him. So all of these drivers doing what they need to do. Ironom driving defensively, hitting his marks, but Matt Malone trying to take advantage of every little slip up. Every time he sees that door even crack open a little bit, he's trying to get there. We have a little bit of issues further back in the field.
Yep, I was trying to watch the AM battle for a brief moment just to see where they stand. There is a bit of a gap there, and somebody went off, but we are back to the front of the field here. The overall, there may be some traffic in the future here on the white flag lap. That could be of interest here, but down the back straightaway for the penultimate time here, into roller coaster for the penultimate time. Now, there's not much of a slipstream here, and this is also not a straight braking zone that you'd see like a hairpin or a chicane. So coming here into roller coaster, you have to have the position and really put the car in an awkward position to take advantage of it. But it is the last-ditch resort to make a pass here as we close in on the 1 to go.
And look at this, he is on the bumper. He got such a good run through this downhill section, but again, not quite able to get around. So we're going to come onto the front straightaway. This will be the white flag lap when we cross. I believe you're going to see Barney take out that white flag. There it is. This is going to be the last time around for our race leaders. Ironom just has to get off 1 more perfect lap. And if you click that off, he'll be all right. But a battle for second place. Matt Malone down low.
Oh, he's forcing it down in there into turn number 1. He's going to make a little bit of contact. Nom's going to get a little sideways. Malone forcing himself in there. He's on the outside lane here, headed through the NASCAR bend. Can he keep enough car to where he has the position where it's advantageous? They're bumping. They're beating doors here. Now, this is NASCAR bend. Scotty Banks, you can't go 3 wide, man. Now he's going to relinquish the spot. Malone now has the preferred lane here. Little bit of door tap. But
It was a
Malone
bit of a door
loses
check.
it. He loses the position. He loses it. Now he's on the outside. Now they're battling through the S's side by side. Nom hangs on for the challenge. Here comes Banks to the left side of Malone.
I don't know how Nom held on to that, and I don't know how Matt Malone made that car stick. I mean, that was almost 4 wheels in the grass for the corner, side by side for second place, and it looks like Malone may be at risk of falling back to third place with that failed overtake attempt for the lead. That puts Scotty Banks up to P2. Now, we haven't got to the long back straightaway yet, so that will be probably the final last-ditch effort for Scotty Banks to make something happen with Iro Nom here. They are very close, 1, 2, 3. Anything can happen. There's that lap traffic a little bit further towards the top of the frame. I believe one of those cars being Sanchez. And as they come down this straightaway, this is going to be it. If Nom can hold on through this downhill section, I think he's got it in the bag, but it is going to be tough going on board now with second place Scotty Banks getting that slipstream, closing in. It's going to be that slight uphill to the left and then immediately back to the right.
Here comes Malone. Malone, a little bit of a tap to the back of Banks, but there's enough of a gap. We won't have the traffic. I think they'll clear with enough time where the traffic won't come in, or I might be wrong here. Through the final corner, Nom has a car length lead. Banks sends it on in there. Banks trying to go back-to-back on the championship. Iro Nom trying to get back on his throne, and he's going to do it here by the skin of his teeth. Iro Nom comes back to the series and gets his first win in race number 1 here at VIR. What a race.
That was absolutely phenomenal driving by all 3 of those drivers. Matt Malone, very aggressive, but
this is this is the AM class battle, by the way. That is the 101 of Michael Puck there with Mike Thompson in the second position within that class here. They're coming down roller coaster to complete their race out. Now, again, this is all for 15th and 16th place points, but for class distinction, class pride, we will still talk to him. Looks like Michael... We're going to go with Puck until he corrects us here in post-race. He is slow, but he's fast enough to win the AM class here at VIR.
Yeah, that is way beyond the midpoint of the field. To finish 15th and even 16th there as an amateur. What a drive for those 2 gentlemen. But again, that battle for the race win on the last lap, very respectful. A lot of give and take. Those guys knew what they were doing. And overall...
It was calculated door slamming. I guess if you could use those words, I would say calculated door slamming.
Calculated chaos, perhaps. But Iro Nom, he just had that cold confidence of a champion. I mean, he had the pressure applied to him the entire race. You had Matt Malone beating his doors off, and he never flinched. He never blinked, never flinched, held on to it, got back to the lead. Didn't miss his marks a single time. That is a dangerous driver right there. When you can be beating somebody's doors off and they're barely even paying attention to you. So great drive out of Iro Nom. And that was one of the reasons VIR is such a coveted racetrack. Puts on amazing shows like that. Yeah. What a race.
Indeed the case here. And next week we'll be at the Nürburgring. So at an F1 track, we'll have a lot more room, a lot more sharp corners. So we will see what happens there. But let's go ahead and start our post-race show here at VIR, our final rundown of results. And we have a little bit more time to go over these results here. We get Iro Nom with that win over Scotty Banks. Matt Malone, he thought he was going to go for the win with all that door slamming, falls back to 3rd. Kevin Parrish in 4th. Phil Keck in 5th. Jack Sanchez and Keck, they were battling all race. Sanchez gets to 6th. Randall McGrew, I don't know if he has the underwear, but he has a 7th place finish here tonight. Evan Hubchak, Andrew Wanning, and then Fabian Zwire. We thought he'd be up there, but the strategy not in his favor for 10th.
No, definitely fell back a little ways there, but outside the top 10, you got Reese Gardner in 11th, Brandon Brush P12, David Fernandez is going to be 13th, 14th finds Matt Solarczyk, who was in the top 5 for the majority of the beginning of the race, unfortunately slipping down the running order. The amateur class winner, Michael Puck, going to be P15, Mike Thompson right behind, also an amateur in 16th. They beat the pros, Ian Lane, David Moore, David Finch, Matt Thompson at P20.
And 21st through 30th, Mark Royce, Todd Hansen. He had that interesting qualifying line in 22nd. Luke Sudenga, Dave Blair, Antoine Sidersky, Levi Powell, Jeff Besnard, Kevin Becker, Luis Henriquez. He was a little bit higher up. I don't know what happened to him. And then Dustin Allis down in 30th. And we'll just let these last couple guys, not that we don't like them, but we do have to get to the post-race show here. So this is the remaining lineup here of results here. The 52 cars that took to the grid here. Again, a fabulous grid here in AMS, but we are starting our show under ideal circumstances. We're going to have the top 2 in each class. That's ideal. Whether ideal happens, I guess we'll find out in due course here, but I do think we have our top 2, Andre, in the form of Eero and Scotty. So let's go ahead and try to grab them in here. All right, we have our winner here today. Well, first off, Eero, can you pronounce your name for us? We just want to make sure we're getting it right.
Yeah, it's Eero.
All right, so you had a fantastic battle there with Matt and Scotty on the final lap. Matt giving you a lot of door taps there through the opening part of the circuit. You managed to keep yourself in the lead, and then we're far enough down, into roller coaster where you didn't have a battle. Just talk about that final lap and overall that battle tonight.
Yeah, going for the last lap in the first turn. I thought I was ahead enough, but yeah, Matt maybe brake a little bit later, and he had a little bit of nose in, so I had to give him room. Yeah, it was a little bit banging. Luckily, it did turn us, and we went side by side. It's really hard there to go on the throttle inside, so I was able to get better drive off on the outside, and then as soon as they went side by side there, I knew I will win.
Yeah, and that worked out in your favor. Now, I know we heard ahead of time that you're the dominator of this series. You've won 4 championships out of 4 attempts. You didn't get to run last season. Scotty won last season in your absence, but there's also a lot of new competition. What's the confidence level in trying to, get another perfect streak and win 5 championships here in AMS?
Yeah, today was good test. Maybe my car setup wasn't the greatest. I didn't have drive up, so I had to maybe work on that and practice more. But yeah, let's see. The season is long.
All right. Well, we will see what you can do next week at the Nürburgring. Any shout outs or thanks you want to give?
Yeah, I want to thank all the sponsors, the league admins, and all the drivers here, and your dear guys in the booth.
All right. Thank you, Eero. Congrats. We'll catch you soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, and then second place within the pro class is Scotty Banks.
Mr. Banks, you got a copy?
Hey, sorry, I was muted.
You're out there, Scotty. Tell you what, you guys put on one heck of a show for us up in the booth. The entire race. I mean, that lead pack was just inseparable. Seemed like you were glued together at the bumper. But those last couple laps, that was definitely something. You had a front row seat to a rather aggressive move by Matt Malone to try to take the lead. And I just want to know what was going through your mind when you're seeing all this door banging. Were you thinking about maybe trying to take advantage of it? Tell me about that last lap.
Well, first I was saying all race, my favorite place to pass here is up through the S's. I love going side by side through there, and I know Matt is always happy to do so. So I was just hoping that was the case, and we got that, so I'm happy. But watching them going into those last couple laps, especially going into turn 1 there, Eero pinched Matt pretty good. And my intention was to try to make a move around the outside there. But I thought he was going to get turned, so I just kind of hung out behind Matt, which then I thought the opportunity was gone. But thankfully, they kept being super aggressive, and I could go for it again.
Absolutely, and I don't blame you for wanting to maybe play it safe there and thinking that somebody was going to get turned, because we were thinking the same thing up in the booth. But
yeah, I mean, at worst, it was third place. So
exactly, can't complain about a podium. But
yep.
VIR, definitely a narrow track, a tricky track. It seemed like passing was a bit of a premium tonight. What was the actual lap-to-lap racing like, and how tough was it to try to overtake?
I felt like I could have made several passes there when I was at the back of that train for that whole time, but I wasn't going to get anywhere. So whether I think I was 5th for a long time, I could have definitely gotten up to 2nd or 3rd. But we were all going to be stuck together. So I think we could have definitely raced harder, but everyone was in just conserve mode. It was a little frustrating sometimes because me and Matt would get massive runs and then we would just back off and wait. And I kind of hoped there was some more side-by-side racing through the whole race, but it was fun. I love this track. This is my favorite track. I look forward to racing these cars here every season, and I thought this was my best shot to beat Arrow because I have yet in 5-6 seasons to beat Arrow straight up in a race. All my wins were when he's been out. So I thought this was the one, came close, but that was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I think you definitely got a good shot at it here in the rest of the season. I mean, you guys' pace was just so close. But again, congratulations on second place. Before we let you go, is there any shout outs you'd like to make?
I mean, first of all, you guys for coming on. We had some fantastic races last season and no broadcasts, which was kind of a bummer. So appreciate you guys being on board this season. And just Randall, Finney's put together this league that keeps getting better every year. We keep having a more and more competitive group of guys. It's crazy to see 52 of us out here. And it's just awesome. He's done a great job putting this together. And an amazing schedule this season.
I couldn't agree more. Well, again, Scotty, congratulations on P2, and hopefully we're talking to you next week under similar circumstance.
Thank you. Sounds good. See you next week.
All right, now before we, Randall McGrew, our admin, wants to have a word, but I just want to, in sign off here, actually, I guess I'll wait, because that's sign off at the end. I do want to make sure I bring up our ad read one more time, but our league admin here, well, didn't have a bad day. I mean, I never really talked to admins up front, but Randall, you got yourself some speed here, and you got yourself 7th overall here on the evening, so what was that like from your perspective? You got 52 Mustangs out here at a tough track, and we saw some great stuff out there.
Yeah, it was a full deck. That's the most we've ever had in a race. We hit 48 last season. 52 is phenomenal. I can't believe how strong this league is continuing to grow. I mean, we might have to look running 2 splits here in the near future. Competition out there is tough. Let me tell you, I'm lucky for every spot that I gained in that race.
Yeah, you seem to be, you weren't in the front pack, but you were kind of leading the second. You were within maybe a second or two at most of the front guys, you know, Malone, Nom, Banks, and company. Was it skill? Was it setup? Was it just your starting spot? What do you need to, you know, maybe gain that little bit to get those front guys?
Yeah, I had a pretty good start. My biggest issue was setup. I was definitely set up for a long run. So it took my front tires a good 6-7 laps to really come in, and then I started finding my pace. Unfortunately, I accidentally took a left front tire in the pit stop, so I came out of the pits on ice skates and was trying to wrangle the car with Fabian breathing down my neck, which, let me tell you, the guy can put some pressure on. Yeah,
Fabian, we were actually talking about him because he was one of the people that I don't think the strategy worked out. He was a fast guy that the strategy didn't work out, maybe the cycle, the traffic, and he got back to 10th, but next week we head from the green hell here, as of America, as I call it, back to a Formula One track. So we got more space, we got more hairpins, chicanes, you know, all that fun stuff. What's a full field of Mustangs going to be like at the NERB next week?
Oh, it's going to be insane. I think we'll see a pretty big spread. We'll probably see cars running in twos and threes after a few laps. That's a really technical track, so we're going to separate the really fast guys from just your average drivers.
Yeah, we will look forward to that, man. It was an absolute blast. Any final words before we let you go?
There's still time to register for AMS. We still have a few spots open. Join the Discord. If you don't know how to get to the Discord, just search for Fitty McFinger, all one word, on Discord, and I can give you a link. And yeah, we still have a few spots open. But you see, it's a pretty stacked field, so it's going to be crazy.
I've never heard of a league with 50-plus cars. Still saying they got room for guys, but, you know, we'll take them. It's more fun for the show, man. Congrats on a good run for you and, you know, a good run overall for the league tonight.
And thanks a lot to you guys.
Anytime, man. We'll catch you. All right, so that is our post-race show. And again, as we said a little bit earlier here in our sign-off, the AMS doesn't just run for nothing. They run for suicide prevention and awareness here. So AFSP saves lives and hopes to bring hope to those affected by suicide. They are a voluntary health organization that gives those affected by suicide a nationwide community empowered by research, education, advocacy to take action against this leading cause of death. If you think someone is struggling, trust your gut, ask directly, and listen. Together, we can help stop suicide there. So, of course, if anybody has been affected by that, we know how tragic it is, and there are ways around it. So, Andre, want to thank you for helping me out. Of course, PTR TV, we're going to be picking up with this series, and our stock car schedule picking up. So, glad to have you with me. Any final words before we wrap up tonight?
I just want to say thanks to league in there, and we're from this opportunity. Probably butchered the name, including Charles Shelby. I got that one backward, but I had a lot of fun and looking forward to it.
All right, so those are our parting words. It's going to be Corey and Andre signing out of the booth here tonight for the AMS series. Have a great night, and we will catch you next time.